Happy Kwanzaa and welcome to day 7 of 3-word prayers for Kwanzaa. I am Cherie Jones, author of Lord You Know, 3-word prayers of Adoration, Supplication, and Affirmation. And we are at the last day of Kwanzaa, and I have so enjoyed this time of pairing up these 3-word prayers that I've created to go along with the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And today's principle is Imani. Imani is, it means faith in Swahili. And the thought behind Imani is to believe with all our hearts in our people and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. This this principle, I feel like it just encapsulates the entire Kwanzaa experience. All the principles kind of go right into, I think the first one and the last one. The first principle was unity. So we started with unity and we end with faith. And we've come this far by faith. I know in the Black church, that is a very popular song that we sing. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He's never failed me yet. And that is the foundation of our faith, that we believe that God has never failed us. We believe that God is all powerful and there's nothing impossible for God. And so as we continue to fight for justice in the world, in our communities, we believe that our struggle will end in victory because we've seen God do it before. And we believe that God can do it again. And with that said, I have chosen the 3-word prayer, do it again, to go along with this Kwanzaa principle because of that very thing I just said. We have faith that what God has done in the past for us, the victories we've won in the past, when we find ourselves faced with challenges in our present and looking into the future, anticipating some challenges, although we may continue to fight, although we may have some struggles, we know we've had victories in the past and we trust that God will do it again, will enable us to be victorious again. And so I want to just read a short excerpt from my book. The 3-word prayer, do it again, is inspired by Psalm 126 verses 4-6, which says, "Turn again our captivity, O Lord, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy." And so this scripture really speaks to the children of Israel finding themselves in captivity yet again, and they reflect on how God delivered them in the past from captivity. And so they say, God, if you could do it before, you can do it again. And I love that last part of the text where it says, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. We have shed some blood, sweat, and tears, right? Fighting, struggling. But I believe that we will reap in joy. And so the short excerpt I would like to read from the book, it says, when you pray, do it again, you reference your personal testimony of experiencing God's power demonstrated in your life. When you have experienced the miraculous, you can boldly ask God to do it again when you are faced with the impossible. And so we don't know what the future holds. I know many of us are anticipating some challenges and some struggles in the next few years. And guess what? We know from struggle, right? That's not the totality of our experience, but we know from struggle, and we know that God has enabled us to work through whatever struggles we've had. God has given us victories in the midst of our struggles. And so we have faith that if God has done it before, God can do it again. So I wish you a happy Kwanzaa, and I have enjoyed this time. I hope that you have too. And if you would like to purchase this book, Lord, You Know, 3-word prayers of adoration, supplication, and affirmation. The link is in this post, and you can get an autographed copy of the book. This book was a labor of love for me, inspired by the scripture in Ezekiel 37, where the prophet Ezekiel says to God asks the prophet Ezekiel, can these dry bones live? And Ezekiel says, Lord, You know, because he didn't want to get the answer wrong. So he just said, Lord, only You know. And so I've always held on to that text as a prayer for me, that in situations where I just don't know what to say, I don't know the right words to put together, I often just say, Lord, You know. And so that inspired me to write a devotional comprised of all 3-word prayers, accompanied with the scripture and a devotional reflection. And so I encourage you to get this book. It makes a great gift, a great Kwanzaa gift. As we go into the new year, I know many people are desiring to just have a closer relationship with God, and this book, I believe, can help you with that. And so thank you again for joining me for 3-word prayers for Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and guess what? Have faith that whatever God has done, whatever victories God has enabled you to have in the past, God can do it again. God bless you.